Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Fable1 as usual, and today we have a very special topic. We have an exclusive weapon to review, and it's called the NSX-A Kuwa. According to the lore, the NSX-A Kuwa is actually an upgraded variant of the NSX Yumi, and therefore it shares a lot of similarities. If you haven't seen my review yet on the NSX Yumi, I would highly recommend checking out that video first, link in the top right corner right now. But well guys, the NSX Kuwa is everything the NSX Yumi should have been from the start all along. Having said that though, the NSX Kuwa is also a very controversial weapon. Before we're gonna dive into the attachments and the traits of the gun, I have to share the following, and that is that the NSX Kuwa is a directive reward weapon. For the people that don't know what a directive reward weapon is, it is a weapon you can't buy with certs, it's a weapon you can't buy with daybreak cash. No, you have to earn this one for yourself. And in this case, you have to actually finish a directive. Therefore, it falls in the same category as, for example, the Beetlejuice, the Godsaw and the Butcher. But wait a minute. The Butcher is special for the Terrans. The Conglomerate got the Godsaw, and the Vanu have the one and only Beetlejuice. So where is this one for? If you have not been living under a rock in the last few months, then you might have heard about a new faction in the game, the Nanite System Operatives or the NSOs. Whereas the traditional three factions have their own Empire-specific weapons, the NSO only use the common pool weapons, so the NSX weapons or the NS weapons. These NSX or NS weapons are all freely available to all the other factions. However, there is an exception nowadays, and those are the directive reward weapons, and these are not available for the other factions. The NSX Kuwa is one of those directive weapons, but you also got the NSX Kappa or the NSX Jawara and some other directive reward weapons as well. So, if you want access to one of these weapons, you need to play as an NSO. And yeah, some might say, well Faber, big deal, right? I mean, if you want to play with a Beetlejuice, you need to have a Vanu character. If you want to play with a Godsaw, you need an NC character. Having these Empire-specific weapons is just part of the game. And yes, that's just completely right. I, for example, love that only the Vanu weapons have a heat mechanic, because that just fits with their alien type lore. But there is one thing that worries me, or might worry more people as well, and that is that you can freely make a TR account, you can freely make a Vanu account, and you can freely make an NC account. But what you can't freely get is an NSO character. As a little reminder for you guys, if you want to play with an NSO character, you do need an active membership. So ladies and gentlemen, what we basically have is a faction behind a paywall, and there's no problem with that, because mainly they use common pool weapons and everyone has access to these weapons. However, there are a few that only NSO characters can use, and then the question is, are they overpowered, and yes, is it pay to win? First of all though, I do want to mention that I think that the NSOs are basically a crippled faction. We don't have a special fighter jet, we don't have a main battle tank, and we don't have maxes. And we also lack a lot of weapons. Just as an example, we don't have any one-hit kill knives. Furthermore guys, there are still some issues also with the NSOs. For example, we can't use the faction-specific jump pads, and some other bugs we still have as playing as an NS character. However though, the question is, can we compensate that? Can we compensate for the fact we lack all those things with maybe a few overpowered infantry weapons? And yes, that was actually kind of the case. When the NSO launched and also the Kuwa came into play, there were just a few very good players that actually unlocked the Kuwa pretty fast. Like the Yumi, the NSX Kuwa has a fast fire rate, little recoil, and a very decent damage. If you add to that the NSX Kuwa doesn't have any burst mechanic like the Yumi, well guys, you make a very decent gun. It was actually so decent that the gun got nerfed in one of the following patches. You might still remember heated debates about the Kuwa when the gun just launched. However though, I want to say the following: the guys that actually got the gun before the nerf were also very good players. So yeah, it was overpowered, but it wasn't as bad as people thought it was. Anyway guys, right now it has been nerfed, and I think nobody is really saying it is overpowered anymore. So if you are thinking, well guys, guns like this ruin the game, it is making the game pay to win, if you are a paying member you get better stuff, no, that is actually not the case. I guess that being a developer working on this specific gun has to be very hard, because you don't want it to be overpowered, this gun, because people will say it's a pay to win game and a pay to win mechanic, but you don't want it to feel weak as well. In the end, it still has to feel rewarding because it is a directive reward weapon, and some people really have been grinding as well for this gun. But okay, in that case, there's only one question left. It is not overpowered anymore, that's sure. It is not an overpowered gun, but is it still worth the grind? And is it still worth the membership as well? To find out, let's first look at the weapon statistics. First of all guys, you have to know that unlike the Yumi, this gun is not an assault rifle, nor an LMG, nor a carbine. This weapon is a hybrid rifle available to the engineer, the combat medic and the heavy assault. The NSX-A Kuwa also has a fire rate of 750 rounds per minute. It does 150 damage at 10 meters and 125 at 65 meters. It has a muzzle velocity of 500 meters per second. It reloads in 2.75 seconds for the long reload and 2 seconds for the short reload. It has a mag size of 30 and 210 bullets in total. And it only has one fire mode, and that's auto. Additionally, you should know one more thing about the Kuwa, and that is that it has the same trigger delay as the Yumi. So every time you click your mouse to fire your bullets, you have to wait 0.25 seconds. When I did my Yumi review, I was really worried that I would never get used to that trigger delay. However, that was the case with a burst weapon. Since the Kuwa is an automatic rifle with very little recoil, there's almost no reason to stop firing and start bursting, and therefore the trigger delay doesn't annoy you as often. There's one more thing. With the Yumi, the moment you start to fire, there is no going back, you have to finish your whole burst. But with the Kuwa, it's a completely different story. The second you change your mind and you want to stop firing, it's done. I think, in retrospect, it wasn't really the trigger delay that annoys me with the Yumi, it was really the automatic firing of the gun that you couldn't stop. Actually guys, the trigger delay saved the lives of many people, because well, it happens sometimes guys, you see a guy and you want to shoot him, but big oopsie, it's actually a teammate of yours. That 0.25 seconds can be the difference between a dead teammate and an alive teammate, so in this case it actually saved a lot of teammates, and I think that's kinda nice as well. But okay, the Kuwa, a gun with a trigger delay, a gun with little recoil, a gun with a fast fire rate and also a decent damage. What's more about the Kuwa? The Kuwa also has a truckload of attachments. Let's start with the optics. There's a wide variety of different optics. For example, 1x, your red dot, your yellow dot, your CCLR, HSMV scope, but also a 3.4x. And I think that in this case, unlike with the Yumi, you should not go with the scope, but with the red dot instead. I still think that the most effective playstyle with the Yumi is using it as a semi-sniper, but with the Kuwa it is different. The Kuwa is still super accurate, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't excel anymore in those long-range bursts. In my experience, the most effective range for the Kuwa is between 10 and 25 meters. It is not good against shotguns up close, and it's also not very good against long-range sniper rifles. As a compromise, what you could also do is go with it 2x, but okay, for me it's a yellow dot. Up next are the barrel attachments, and in this case you have the compensator and the flash suppressor, and as you might see already, I am not using anything on there. My main reason for not using any barrel attachments is that, well, first of all, like I mentioned before, the Kuwa does not have any noticeable recoil, and therefore reducing vertical recoil won't do much, and also it reduces your hipfire accuracy, so the benefits don't outweigh the cons. And furthermore, the flash suppressor, well, you could maybe use it on those dark hostile nights, but the flash suppressor makes the shooter less visible, so that would be nice over there, but it also increases the range at which you appear on the enemy minimap by 50 meters, and I think that's kinda substantial. After the barrel we get the real attachments, and over here we find the fun stuff. First of all, you do have the normal things like the dark light flashlight, the forward grip, but in this case also the extended mag, and in this extended mag you have some more bullets in your mag, so you can fire more before you need to reload. If you would like to spot those infiltrators a bit easier, you could also get the dark light flashlight, but I would not recommend to get the forward grip, because again there is little recoil, and having less horizontal recoil won't help you much again. Next to the forward grip we find the grenade launcher and also the smoke launcher, and those are really fun to use. But the only thing is I use them so much on the Yumi that I don't feel any reason anymore to use them right now in the Kuwa because they act the same. Anyway, the grenade launchers are really fun to use, and if you don't want to spend your cert on a Tampa yet, well guys, then this might be the thing for you. Finally, we also have two ammo types, and in this case it's high velocity versus soft point. Like with the Yumi, I also use over here the high velocity ammunition. I still think that this weapon type is meant for the somewhat longer ranges, and therefore the HVA ammo might help you a lot by increasing your bullet velocity and also increasing your damage range by 20 meters. Do keep in mind though that the HVA ammo also reduces your weapon's maximum damage range by 2 meters, and therefore your damage drop-off will start earlier. To me, that is not a reason to not use HVA ammo, because I still think that playing close range Yumi is not the way to go, especially because you have a trigger delay. Having said that though, if you are a master of the trigger delay and you want to play close quarter combat with the Kuwa, then you should go for the soft point ammunition. Before we go to the conclusion, I again want to mention that this gun can be played by the engineer, the medic and also the heavy assault. As you might have seen in the footage in the background, I am mainly using the heavy assault class, and that is because they have the overshield. You want to play on a medium range, but unfortunately that is not always possible, and in those cases it comes to close quarter combat, you still have the edge as a heavy assault by activating your overshield. I do still think if you play 1v1 against another heavy, you will probably lose, but at least against medics, against engineers, against light assaults, you might win some fights again. Also, I had the feeling the Kuwa plays really nicely with the assimilate implant, and it's mainly because I do feel that getting headshots with the Kuwa is easier than other weapons when playing as a heavy, but that might be a personal thing. All in all guys, the Kuwa is a well-rounded weapon. It took a lot of time for me to get it. I get like 1 kill per minute in Planetside and you need over 5,000 kills, so I was busy for over 100 hours in Planetside to get this gun. It was quite a time investment, but I'm glad I done it because it is a very unique gun. The looks are amazing, I think, the erection effect on it is really nice, and also in general having an automatic Yumi just feels good. It is also a very versatile gun because you can play it in multiple classes, so if you want you can use it almost everywhere. Having said that though, when you start working towards the Kuwa, you need to remember one thing. You need to be a paying member. In my opinion, this gun isn't worth getting a membership for, it isn't worth $10 a month. However though, if you do like the game, if you want to support the game, if you want to have some extras, for example every month you get some free day rare cash, and also you can play as an NSO, well, in that case, it is worth it. You do need to finish the assault weapon directive, and in my case I erectioned the NS11A, the NSX Yumi, the NSX Naginata, the NS15 and the NSX Tento, and that was okay. The NSX Yumi erection was a pain, but all in all, as an NSO, you don't have much guns anyway to play with, so I think it was a fine thing to do. However though, that is the review of the Kuwa. Let me know in the comments down below if you are grinding towards it, or if you already have the Kuwa. And let me know if you know another gun for me to review in the future. But that is me, that is Fable1, and I will see you soon with some more content.